Hey guys, it's Hunter. Welcome back to another episode of Ask a Fish. It's been a while, but this is a series where I answer your questions that you leave on Discord. So don't forget to join our server if you've got a question for a future episode. For now, smack a like on the video if you're going to enjoy it. That actually really helps out with the YouTube algorithm, and let's get into your questions. Mattman asks, how do you feel about this trend of artists leaving major brands and going to Schecter and ESP? Do you think it's a quality thing, a money thing, a consistency thing, or something else entirely? Yeah, all of the above. So this comes in the wake of Mick Thompson of Slipknot being officially announced as a new addition to ESP's roster after leaving Jackson. Aaron Marshall of Intervals and John Brown of Monuments both swapped Mayonnaise for Schecter. Rob Scallon, arguably Chapman's biggest artist, joined Schecter as well last year. And as guitarists, we tend to focus in on the quality and specs of the instruments. And I mean, as solid as Schecters are, I don't think that they joined because Mayonnaise was failing on the quality front. You are definitely onto something about consistency though, because when it comes to the quality of their import models, Schecter and LTD are arguably the most consistent out of any of the import brands. But the main reason I'd argue that you're seeing more and more artists switching over to Schecter and ESP is that from a business perspective, Schecter and ESP are manufacturing and distribution juggernauts in the industry. It is not easy to have guitars built in Asia at scale and at a certain quality level and then distributed and sold in stores across the globe. In fact, it is very, very, very hard and very, very, very expensive. But they make it look easy, and as big players, they have the resources that smaller companies just don't. Those resources also mean that they can afford to drop more variants, like Rob Scallon and John Brown now have full signature lines with 6, 7, and 8 strings, and you can get all of them left-handed too. That just wasn't possible with their previous endorsements. So is it a money thing? I mean, artists definitely stand to make more money signing with ESP or with Schecter, but that's almost a byproduct of higher accessibility. Like, think about it this way. If I'm an artist and I've got a signature model, I probably want to share that passion project with as many fans as possible. It's why Matt Hafey plays Epiphone. It's why I said yes to a signature with Harley Benton, and I can't speak for John Brown, but realistically, with a $1,500 signature Schecter made in a reputable Korean factory instead of a $4,000 Mayonnaise handcrafted in Poland, more of the guitars will be made. They'll be available in more regions, at more dealers, all without compromising on spec. So it's better for the fans, more of which can now actually afford one. You're selling more guitars, which is good financially for the artist. And one last factor, especially in the case of ESP, prestige plays a role too. ESP is a highly regarded name in the industry, and not like other brands aren't, but like you're on the same roster as James Hetfield of Metallica. That's a pretty big selling point for artists, and artists in the future, I don't know, maybe being on the same roster as Machine Gun Kelly could be a flex, maybe. But look at how excited everyone got when it leaked that Mick Thompson was going to ESP. The internet lost its collective. People have already gone wild speculating on what the signature model is going to look like. There's just this energy around ESP that the current day Jackson just can't match. So quality and consistency for sure, but most importantly, they provide unrivaled accessibility thanks to the distribution networks, and right now that's a combo no one can match to that level and to the scale that they do. And now let's talk about quality and consistency that fits snugly into your pants. It's today's sponsor, Ridge. And Ridge has been a fantastic channel partner. You've probably heard of me talk about them before because I absolutely love how they're redefining the wallet in a way that makes sense for modern life. I made the switch a couple years ago, and I cannot imagine going back to that old bulky style. I love the sleek modern form factor that can hold all your cards and fit into your front pocket. It's RFID blocking so scammers can't steal your information, and each wallet comes with a lifetime guarantee. There are over 30 colors and styles to choose from, and if you're struggling for Father's Day ideas, the new leather designs are perfect, blending the evolved wallet design with a little bit of traditional flair. Ridge have over 50,000 5-star reviews, so if you're looking for the best Father's Day gifts, head over to ridge.com/agrifish and use my code agrifish for up to 40% off until June 15th. Link will also be in the description, and of course clicking helps support the channel by letting them know that I sent you. And while you're checking that out, let's get back into your questions. Quentin Latour says that subscriber joke is getting really old. Yeah, I agree. Let me explain what he's talking about and why I do it though. So a lot of the videos have been throwing in a parody of what other YouTubers have been doing, like throwing up a screen grab of their statistics, only 57% of viewers are subscribed or whatever, and I've been saying stupid numbers like 87,345% of viewers are not subscribed, just stupid, nonsensical math, and even I'm getting a little bored of the bit. The thing is though, it works. There's a very significant difference when I do or don't throw that bit in. Do people need to be told exactly what to do? I don't know. I'd prefer if they just subscribed on their own. But yeah, that's an explanation as to why I keep throwing it in and why I keep making up stupid numbers. And I guess this also serves as your reminder to subscribe if you haven't already, if you're enjoying the content. That way I can deliver guitar videos directly into your sub box. Make sure to tick the bell for notifications as well so you don't miss any uploads. Otherwise, I'm gonna keep throwing in the stupid joke. Mark Nutt asks, thoughts on the Avenger exotics? Yeah, you know what? We haven't really talked about Schecter nearly enough this year. And a big reason for that is, unlike ESP or PRS that follow the old school event model where the entire lineup is revealed pretty much all in one go, Schecter does what Solar does. They do small drops all the time. It doesn't generate nearly the level of hype, but it does keep the lineup feeling fresh. So I think it's about time we talked about the state of Schecter in 2023, because I've actually dropped a ton of cool shit this year, including the aforementioned Avenger exotics. And the Avenger is a funny shape. You look at it and your first impression is, oh my god, that's metal as fuck. Now, I tried an especially metal looking one, the Blackjack Avenger, solid black, Lundgren Meshuggah pickups, and the thing blew me away because as edgy as it looked, with the exception of the big top horn, it felt very, very similar to playing a traditional carved top guitar. Like, I was expecting Ibanez-y, maybe even more metal than that, but no, the neck shape, the feel of the body, it felt far more like a full thickness Eclipse than it did RG. So while these classic themed exotic variants may seem a bit bizarre at first because they don't look super metal, if you're familiar with how the Avenger plays, it makes total sense. So these Avenger exotics come in two variants, Ziricode with an absolutely insane Abalone Perloid Vine of Life inlay pattern, and a spalted maple version with abalone line inlays, which also is available left-handed. Mahogany bodies, bolt-on 5-piece roasted maple purple heart necks, ebony fingerboards with 24 jumbo frets, abalone side dots, Schecter Diamond 74 humbuckers. Quick note on these, by the way, Schecter started as an aftermarket parts company, so they have a long history with winding pickups. They're actually pretty damn good at it. The Diamond Series pickups are their imports, and they look absolutely sick with the zebra bobbins and silver outer ring. The vibe of these remind me a lot of the classic series Deans, like the Cadillac 1980s or the ML79s. Again, both of those shapes look super pointy, super fucking metal, but playability-wise, the feel of the neck, they're closer to Gibsons than they are to Ibanez. And so again, the classic aesthetic on the Avenger actually makes a ton more sense than you'd initially think. But now let's move on to newly dropped models that are much more Schecter-y. The Reaper Elite series. The original Reaper series dropped in 2019, I'm pretty sure. I demoed it, I had a ton of fun with it. Not everyone was in love with the specs or the Bro Maple aesthetic though. And so the new Elites use the same body and reverse headstock design, then got both a spec bump and also a less controversial metal guitar look. So we've got a 6-string, a 7-string, 25 to 27 inch multiscale, and a 6-string FRS. That's a Floyd 1500 series paired with a Sustainiac in the neck, and it's probably the most fun you'll have just making noise on the guitar. Quilted maple tops, and every member of the series comes in either Bloodburst or Deep Ocean Blue. Kaya African mahogany bodies, not entirely sure what that is. Wenge neck through, love this. The open pore oiled finish feels fantastic, and I've never seen any other guitar do full Wenge neck through before. That's phenomenal. And I love all the things that Schecter includes standard on their premium guitars these days, like carbon fiber reinforcement rods in the neck, 12 to 16-inch compound fingerboard radii, and in this case, the ebony boards also now have 24 extra jumbo stainless steel frets, which Schecter has sneakily started putting on more and more of their premium metal guitars. And we now have hip-shot hardware and my beloved open gear locking tuners. The Elites have Schecter USA San Andreas humbuckers. Good choice, still the best GTA ever, and that is a hill I will gladly die on. I presume these are super high output because the pole pieces are hilariously huge. I kind of wish there was a dark burl top version though, because this is a very cool series with very cool specs, but the original Reapers had a super distinctive look that set them apart. And with this look, they kind of blend into the rest of Schecter's lineup. If you were just browsing Schecter's website and you came across these, you might not notice how these are the only production model on the market from any of the big brands that's freaking Wenge neck through. Wild. Moving on to even more Schecter-ass looking Schecters, there are new colors for the SLS Elites. Actually, they kind of only look like Schecter-ass Schecters because they're their signature C-shape. Because honestly, the new antique Fade Burst looks very much like something you'd see from E2 or from LTD. So it's not a new model, but the new modern option in addition to Blood Burst and Black Fade Burst, which is also a very LTD style finish. It's super cool. But I'm a big fan of this series. Fishman fluences, hip-shot hardware, stainless steel frets, Ernie Ball compensated nuts, locking tuners, made in Korea with Swamp Ash body wings, and a 7-piece maple walnut Baduke neck through construction. $12.99 for the 6-string, $100 more if you want the one with the Floyd 1500, then $13.99 for the 7-string, $50 more for the Floyd version. With those specs, I mean, those are very good specs, especially Korean made with neck through construction is not cheap. That's a very decent price in today's market compared to what you'd get from everyone else. And they're metal guitars, which is kind of what you'd expect from Schecter. But if you don't like metal guitars, well, you're not looking at Schecter, right? Actually, maybe you should be, because while they're known for the super edgy stuff, Schecter actually has a very extensive traditional styled lineup. Their history with doing that actually goes way back. Their PT model is literally named that because in the 80s they were making dual humbucker telecopies for Pete Townsend of The Who. And that's kind of how they gained recognition in the scene initially. So enter Schecter's new multi-voice series. So far, it only consists of the MV6, gloss black and supersonic blue with roasted maple necks and fingerboards, then a ridiculously cool metallic purple, and Olympic white with Wenge necks, ebony fingerboards, the latter of which comes in both left and right-handed. Extra jumbo frets, aluminum circle inlays, Graphtec nuts, 2-point trims, but the big feature with these is that they come with slanted Schecter Diamond 351 pickups wired to a 5-way super switch. And the super switch is cool because it makes it much easier to wire up unique pickup combinations compared to a regular 5-way. So in this case, position 1 gives you the bridge humbucker in series, position 2 the inner humbucker coil, position 3 the bridge inner coil, and the neck in parallel, position 4 all coils in parallel, and position 5 is your neck single. Just a crazy amount of versatility, and of course the slanted pickups with vintage white bobbins are cool. But I gotta tell you, the first thing that stood out to me is the one volume, one tone layout where the volume's been moved out of the way of your pick and hand. Yes, Schecter, thank you. That is by far my biggest pet peeve when it comes to strats, to the point where on my own strat, I just got fed up with it and just removed one of the tones so I could move the volume out of the way, and now there's a big hole in the pick guard. Here, Schecter's just already gone and done it. Love that. You know, the concept of the multi-voice series is essentially the same as Squire's Contemporary Stratocaster Special, and I love how it's Schecter, of all people, not Fender, that have launched an affordable premium version of that first. And that leads us nicely into the next thing that Schecter's doing that's somehow flying under everyone's radar. So everyone knows about their Korean and Indonesian imports, and they've got a solid US custom shop. They've just dropped a line called the California Classic, which is kind of funny because they're made in Japan. Even the neck plate is very confusing, with Sun Valley, California proudly stamped on there. The only sign that it's a Japanese-made guitar is the J in the serial number. bizarre. Now, I thought that because the guy who founded ESP, forgive my butchering, Hisatake Shibuya, also owns Schecter, even though the two companies are run essentially completely separately, MIJ Schecters would be made at the ESP factory. It makes sense, right? Yeah, they're actually not, though. They're made at the basically legendary Fujijin facility. They're the ones doing all the Japanese Fenders, Jacksons, a lot of the Ibanez guitars, their own highly regarded FGN branded guitars. And what's especially interesting is that this is not a new thing. Schecter has been making guitars in Japan for years, like the Exceed series, the SD series, the S series, the SD Custom series. They just haven't seen mainstream distribution in the United States until now. So the California classics have chambered swamp ash bodies, solid carved maple caps with a quilt maple veneer, bolts-on flame maple necks with ebony fingerboards, and 22 jumbo stainless steel frets. Schecter Nuvo 2-point trems and locking tuners, lumen lace side dots, and Schecter USA pickups, a Pasadena Plus in the bridge, and 2 monster tones in the neck and middle positions. They're $24.99, which puts them right around Jackson's MJ series. Seems like a fair enough price for a Fujijin built guitar, especially given it's got stainless steel frets, and the Jacksons don't. I think no roasted maple is a bit of a mistake, since so many of their higher end imports come with roasted maple. Why would you not put it in on your super premium offering? And I will be curious to see how well these sell, because they look awesome, but a lot of guitarists, especially the MySpace metalcore generation that I'm a part of, we grew up with a Schecter that was almost exclusively known for being an amazing bang for buck import brand. Like, I didn't even realize that Schecter did US models until much, much later. The Schecters in Attack Attack music videos are the ones with objectively just far too much abalone. That was Schecter. So I'm curious to see how accepting people are of a non-US made guitar in that price category with Schecter on the headstock instead of Jackson, instead of Fender, instead of Ibanez. I guess it helps that Japanese Schecters do have a very different, much classier, traditional, less monster energy vibe to them, though. Again, I hope they do well, because they look awesome, and it would be cool to have a high-end Schecter production line. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens. And we talked earlier about why artists are switching over to LTD and Schecter, so let's talk about the new Schecter signature models. We've talked about Aaron Marshall's new guitars with the Wenge necks, and John Brown's Tau line of 6, 7, and 8 strings, all available left-handed, by the way. Also, with insane 5-piece Wenge and Patuque necks. You'll be pleased to know Machine Gun Karen has a new signature acoustic. Okay, wait, hear me out on this one. Yeah, it's kind of cringy. Yeah, it's overpriced. Like, you can literally get a legit Monster Energy Edition Schecter acoustic on Mercari right now for a couple $100 less. But just like his electric signature, it is gloriously, perfectly pop punk. I still think the pricing is a mistake. Like, he has a lot of young fans. His pop punk releases are definitely a gateway drug into the world of guitar-driven music, many of whom will be inspired to pick up guitar for the first time. So why are they dropping an $899 electric or a $699 acoustic when they should be dropping a $200-300 entry-level guitar to bring in all these future guitar players and potentially future Schecter customers? $200-300? That's still quite a bit of money. $900? That's a lot for a first guitar. I don't know, what am I missing? It just doesn't make sense to me. Then Ernie C and Juan of the Dead of Ice-T's band Body Count have matching signature models. It's actually kind of wholesome. They're both in a finish called Black Rain. Juan has a string 3 V1, Ernie has a C1 with a Floyd, which is also available left-handed. Stainless steel frets, black chrome covered EMG 81 in the bridge, 89 in the neck. The 89 is so dope. It's not just a humbucker that's splittable. It's dual mode, so you get both true humbucker tones and true single coil tones. And the way it accomplishes that is that it is literally a humbucker and a single coil, 2 pickups in 1 enclosure. I just think the fact they have matching signatures is adorable. I love it. In fact, it's almost like an entire Body Count Schecter series, because Vincent Prince also has a signature bass with them. Same finish, Same black chrome-covered EMG humbuckers. I mean, they're not the same, obviously. They're bass humbuckers. Stainless steel frets. Even got the same 3-piece maple neck that the others do. It's so cute. And so that's kind of what's going on with Schecter right now. I feel like they could do a better job of promoting all the cool shit they're doing, because it's a lot. Oh, and I even forgot about the traditional Pro. Comes in trans blue burst, trans purple burst, Schecter USA pickups, roasted maple necks, less than $1,000. That's new too. But yeah, Schecter's doing a lot, especially in that premium $900 to $1,400 import tier. God, it's crazy how much guitar prices have gone up, that's the current sweet spot for Indonesian and Korean guitars respectively. But, I mean, relative to the current market, Schecter continues to be some of the more reasonably priced guitars for the specs. It's great to see them bring their formerly exclusive Japanese guitars to the US market as well. Japan has always had some great exclusives, so hopefully this encourages them to do more on that front and encourages other brands to do something similar. But yeah, so that's my quick summary, maybe not so quick summary of what's going on with Schecter. Here's where I'll throw it to you. What do you think of the new Schecters, of the new signature models, the new California classics made in Japan? What do you think of their lineup relative to LTD this year? Because honestly, as much as I'm an LTD fanboy, and in comparison, I sometimes find Schecters a little plasticky, a little lifeless, I actually think Schecter's doing slightly more surprising things this year. Like, for example, no one else is going as full bore as Schecter with Wenge necks on import models. Everyone expects them to do edgy metalcore guitars, and they are happy to oblige on that front. But then you've got the multi-voice series out of nowhere. With Schecter, you kind of don't know what you're gonna get right now, which is pretty awesome. Anyways, let me know what you're thinking down below. And now it's time to hear from yet another adoring fan. It's the high praise of the week. I'd love to hear you play, you experts like your King Trogley probably play like shit. Prove me wrong. Yeah, I don't understand comments like these at all. It's not like I literally have an entire library of public shit playing on my channel, but by far, the funniest thing about comments like these is the prove me wrong. Literally no one gives a fuck about you or your opinions. If someone's posting dumbass comments instead of creating content of their own, they are trash people. Guaranteed. Why does anyone care about impressing garbage? Not that it really matters at all. Personally, I think of it this way. I'm at a skill level that I'm comfortable with. Someday it'd be awesome to shred like Tremonti, but first and foremost, I love riffs. When I come up with a cool riff in my head, I can play it. And I mean, honestly, I'm pretty happy with that. And now a quick community update. So a few weeks ago, I dropped a demo of one of the coolest guitars I've ever tried on the channel, and that is the D'Angelico Deluxe Atlantic Baritone. Go check that video out if you haven't already. It's a crazy cool combo of 1920s Art Deco aesthetics and modern playability, and I asked you guys to drop your favorite baritone riffs for a chance to win that guitar. There were a lot of great suggestions, from Chain of Fools by Aretha Franklin to Rock Lobster by the B-52s. Didn't even think about those. But congratulations to Bro Laka on Instagram, who says favorite baritone riff is Trapped by The Word Alive. Great riff, and dude works at the Salt Mine Studio in Arizona. They've worked with Asking Alexandria, All Time Low, Lil Wayne even. So if I don't hear the D'Angelico on the next Lil Wayne single, I'm gonna be pissed. But yeah, stoked to see it'll go to good use, and I thought it'd be nice to shout him out. So if you're in the Arizona area looking for a studio, hit him up. So congratulations again to Bro Laka, and thank you everybody for entering. This won't be the last time that we're doing a giveaway, so stay tuned. But that will do it for today's video. Massive shout out to my amazing patrons who make each and every piece of content possible. Their names are up on the screen right now. Consider joining them if you want to support what I do and help me make better and better guitar content. You can also join as a channel member or pick up some comfy merch. I basically reinvest everything back into the channel, so yeah, just thank you if you decide to do that, or, you know, just thank you for sticking around and watching the video. Social media, merch, and Discord server links are in the description. As always, you've been awesome, and I'll see you for the next video.